Anjem Choudary has been sentenced to a minimum of 26 years. So that is 26 years and 358 days, in prison for leading a prescribed terrorist organisation.
Yes, someone known as Britain's most prolific hate preacher has been sentenced to 26 years and 358 days in prison. The judge said that the public must be aware this is not a sentence of 26 years, it is a life sentence. Those are the words of the judge describing this as a life sentence for Britain's most prolific hate preacher. And
so let's recall that Anjem Choudary was the leader of the proscribed group, Al-Muhajirun. He was previously in prison for inviting support for Islamic State. And once his conditions ended in 2021, he then offended again, and that is what he has been sentenced for now. So that is, as the judge says, a whole life spent in prison. So he's only, he's 57 years old now. So that would mean that by the time he would be eligible to be out of prison, he would be 83 years old.
It is quite a weighty sentence. Of course, interesting that the judge has described this as a life sentence, although we understand not a whole life order. We will be talking to our man in the court, Charlie Peters, as soon as he leaves that courtroom, to repeat in the last few minutes this sentence has been handed out to Anjem Choudary, the most prolific hate preacher in Britain, the self-described Islamist who has been found guilty of leading a terror organisation. 26 years and 358 days in prison.
And so significant because Al-Muhajirun, the group that he notoriously led, has been connected to so many terrorists, Islamist terrorists, people who have gone to join Islamic State. And also Anjem Choudary, of course, known for being there on the conversion of Michael Adebolajo, who killed the soldier Lee Rigby, and also reportedly present at his marriage. So Anjem Choudary is connected to a number of notorious Islamists, and his organisation, as I say, connected to so many terrorists throughout the years. In his previous sentence, he only served, I think, around 2 years of that before being let out on conditions. Those expired in 2021, and as I say, he then went on to offend again, and that is what he's receiving this life sentence for.
Well, our national reporter Charlie Peters has the background to this case.
Stand back, sir! Stand back! Stand back! You get hurt!
A shameless and prolific radicaliser, finally silenced. For decades, putting a stop to Anjem Choudary has been a key objective for British counter-terrorism authorities.
I am arresting you under Section 41 of the...
Now convicted of 3 terror charges, Choudary is finally behind bars and unable to warp new minds across the world.
It's not only being a member of a terrorism organisation, guilty. It's not only encouraging a terrorist organisation, guilty. But also it's Section 56 of the Terrorism Act, directing a terrorist organisation, guilty on that count also.
USA, you obey! USA, you obey!
Choudary was found to be the director of terror group Al-Muhajirun after American and Canadian undercover officers recorded him giving lectures to a US-based group called the Islamic Thinkers Society. His so-called personal assistant, a Canadian called Khalid Hussein, told an undercover officer that the Islamic Thinkers Society was the US branch of Al-Muhajirun.
Most people don't know I'm part of Al-Muhajirun or who the Islamic Thinkers Society are anyway, so that's why I don't usually care.
Choudary had radicalised several terrorists, including the ISIS-supporting knife men who launched 2 separate attacks on London Bridge in 2017 and 2019. He also inspired the killers of Fusilier Lee Rigby, a soldier murdered outside his barracks. But Britain's most notorious Islamist now faces many years behind bars. Charlie Peters, GB News.